Hey YouTube Nation, and welcome back to All About AI Tech. We're knee-deep in a digital revolution, and one of the most explosive aspects is deepfakes. As artificial intelligence continues to grow, so too will the ability for anyone to create convincing images, video, or audio of someone, even you, that looks and sounds completely real. I've got a new video that tells you all about deepfakes and why they are an enormous problem you need to be thinking about right now. We'll break it all down, exploring both the good, because there is some, and the bad parts. We'll look at some of the most influential examples deployed over the last year, and then step you through several approaches you can use to identify deepfakes. So stick with me, because this is something that impacts each of us. Let's start with what the heck a deepfake actually is. It's multimedia, such as video, audio, or images that use powerful AI models to look extraordinarily authentic, despite not being real. In other words, and this has become a key political talking point, the tech can do a great job at putting words into someone's mouth that they never said. This can range from fairly simple manipulations, like cutting snippets of audio and video from longer clips, to something so sophisticated that even experts have difficulty discerning whether a clip is real or not. It's usually the latter that really is concerning, especially given that generative AI systems are getting even better and easier to use, with several models readily available on the web for anyone to use. Think of it like this. Years ago, creating a convincing fake image would have taken days, maybe weeks, with skilled photographers, graphics editors, and an expensive editing suite. Now, it's possible with only an internet connection, a powerful enough smartphone, and a good, clear prompt. Deepfakes can enhance the quality of images, but their malicious use has been widely documented. Some recent examples of politically motivated deepfakes include false footage of President Biden telling voters not to participate in a primary race, and more recently the faked video of Vice President Harris, released by Mr. Reagan, and then reposted without warning by Elon Musk on X. These types of deepfakes can mislead voters, trigger strong emotional responses, and create a general sense of uncertainty and distrust. The potential for such fake media to exacerbate existing political discord and undermine faith in our institutions is impossible to disregard. This is not a hypothetical threat. This is all now happening in the real world. Look at this image. What do you think about it? Would you believe that it shows Taylor Swift at a Trump rally? So how do these things actually work? It might sound like science fiction, but it really hinges on a concept called deep learning, coupled with other AI applications. This typically employs machine learning techniques such as generative adversarial networks, or GANs, and autoencoders. GANs pit two neural networks against one another. The first one, called a generator, seeks to produce AI-generated audio and video, while the second part of the system, the discriminator, tries to tell the difference between real and fake. They take turns testing each other, and the results get increasingly realistic over time, until even an expert struggles to tell the difference. Autoencoders work kind of similarly, albeit via compression and decompression. Essentially, you feed thousands of images of a person, say, Joe Biden, into the autoencoder algorithms. The autoencoder then learns the critical features that define a person: hair color, eyebrow shape, patterns and wrinkles, the typical way the mouth moves when someone is speaking. The most important elements are preserved, while aspects less valuable are discarded. Then, to create a deepfake, you simply feed new data into the autoencoder. This could be images or video of someone else, and the autoencoder will create a new image of that new person looking just like Joe Biden. This process sounds simple, but it can be computationally intensive, requiring powerful servers and processing power to produce usable results. Deepfakes can be used for good, including to generate realistic videos for a variety of entertainment, such as in video games and movies, and educational applications. They can also be used to enhance visual effects by digitally removing elements from a video or making a person appear younger than their actual age. But this raises several serious ethical concerns and dangers associated with its potential misuse, such as the creation and distribution of deepfakes involving non-consensual images, the production and spread of misinformation, and other forms of cyber fraud. Fortunately, as the technology used to create deepfakes improves, so too is the technology that fights them. There are now several tools available that can help separate truth from fiction, and we'll walk you through a few of the most popular ones today. First of all, we have Reality Defender, which offers real-time detection and provides actionable insights and supports multiple media. Then you have Sentinel, used by European governments, organizations, and businesses, which gives its users a visualization of any manipulation. Detector, which is available in beta, analyzes several forms of media, images, videos, and audio, for both uploaded content and content access through a social media link, and has enterprise-level solutions. Intel's Fake Catcher is a real-time deepfake detection system that uses subtle blood flow in the pixels of a video to identify deepfakes. Microsoft's Video Authenticator offers a real-time confidence score indicating the likelihood media has been manipulated. These tools typically use machine learning algorithms that are trained on thousands or millions of images, video, and speech samples. The AI algorithms look for anomalies, inconsistencies, and other clues such as unnatural facial expressions or movements, irregularities in lighting and shadows, or discrepancies between the movement of a person's mouth and their spoken words that aren't present in real-life footage. But there are limits. They're getting better, but they aren't perfect. Deepfakes themselves are an arms race, with each technological advancement giving both malicious users of this technology and defenders a leg up at making more convincing fakes or increasingly accurate detection tools. These advances also benefit private businesses, the entertainment industry, and others committed to the ethical and reliable use of AI technology. For example, we recently saw the use of deepfake technology in a commercial featuring Harrison Ford showing his younger self to promote a high-end alcohol brand, illustrating a sensible and productive use of the technology. The tools work and are advancing rapidly, but still, no tool can detect every deepfake. Here's something else you need to know. Even if you lack access to sophisticated deepfake detection tools, there are still several things you can do to protect yourself. First, be skeptical. Yes, it is easy to immediately believe what you see online, particularly if it's an image or video, and especially when this information triggers emotions. If it seems too good, too bad, or too unbelievable, take time to verify sources and dig a little deeper. Check for additional details that you don't immediately notice. If you see a deepfake video of your CEO announcing a controversial new policy or a manipulated image of a politician at a rally, search to see if other sources are reporting on the same thing. You can also conduct a reverse image search of any online photo by uploading it to places like Google Images or TinEye. That can check to see if the same image or a similar image has been posted anywhere else and under what context. If your spidey senses are tingling, it might be a good idea to manually scrutinize an image more closely to look for telltale signs. That could include poorly rendered details such as disfigured hands, artifacts around the eyes, unnatural blinking, oddly lit backgrounds, or a face that looks too smooth or otherwise flawless. This is especially true if the subject is generally known for their imperfect skin or a particular style of hair or makeup. You can also analyze audio for inconsistencies between voice and lip movement, or evaluate whether the lighting and shadows in a video comport with the location of the scene portrayed or appear consistent throughout. The more inconsistencies you find, the more likely it is the content is fabricated. And never forget the value of plain common sense. If a video sounds or looks too good, or far too bad, to be true, it probably is. But it's important to remember that even trained experts sometimes struggle to determine the veracity of a video, so caution is never wasted when dealing with social media. Of course, it's not sufficient to leave this entirely to the individual. There is a growing need for robust legislation and robust enforcement to regulate deepfakes and prevent their use for fraud and disinformation. Several states have already put laws in place that aim to both criminalize the creation of non-consensual deepfake pornography and identify liability for content distributors who spread them. More legislation is in development in the US, the EU, and other countries, although the specifics vary widely depending on whether a country takes an overly broad policy approach or targets specific types of harm. At the same time, and this will be something to keep an eye on, legislative initiatives are always potentially subject to court challenges by those who feel their free expression rights are being restricted. The most prominent example involves Senator J.D. Vance, who recently lost a federal lawsuit in Minnesota challenging a law passed last year that banned the creation and dissemination of materially deceptive media within 90 days of an election. The court held that the law went too far in potentially restricting freedom of expression and free speech, in that the law's overly broad language could catch content that was not only not used to deceive, but was actually satire. That being said, other similar laws have been passed around the globe as lawmakers are realizing the enormous potential for harm from this technology, especially when misused in political elections. It is notable that, despite the concerns about limitations on free speech, a number of politicians from both sides of the political spectrum have come forward and voiced unequivocal condemnation in the face of deepfake harms. So where are we headed with this? What is the future, and what should we expect? To be sure, the technology used by those who weaponize AI to create and produce convincing fakes isn't going to stop. It will only become more powerful. That also means that the tools available for detecting deepfakes will have only to continue and accelerate rapidly to keep pace. The effort will have to come in several different fronts. Advanced machine learning algorithms will be essential to detect ever more convincing deepfakes. This will only succeed, however, if there is massive investment in research and development of new data, systems, detectors, as well as methodologies. It will involve both private companies and government. This new technological detection of AI-created fakes should ideally be made more transparent to end users with clear explanations as to what they're seeing and hopefully why. Legal frameworks will continue adapting, too, as judges and courts will need ways to incorporate deepfakes as evidence in a court of law. Policymakers will continue to grapple over finding ways to both implement useful regulations and protect free speech, focusing on the malicious use and misuse of this technology rather than its wider deployment. I fully expect we'll see ongoing legislative initiatives from governments around the world attempting to do just this over the coming year. And governments ideally will also need to cooperate and collaborate with other countries to establish a consensus on how deepfakes should be handled, given that online videos and images are not limited to national borders. Yet, despite all this technological prowess and new legal and legislative efforts, none of those will solve the problem on its own, because ultimately, this is a human problem. This is where education and training becomes so valuable. Individuals and groups must actively educate themselves and others on how to spot deepfakes and to critically evaluate content before trusting it. This involves practicing habits of healthy skepticism, fact-checking across multiple credible sources, and improving not just digital literacy, but what some call cognitive literacy, the ability to filter out deceptive content that preys on our existing biases. In short, this requires a continued effort across the world and an acknowledgement that it will require a multifaceted and long-term solution with concerted engagement with lawmakers, educators, technologists, and the general public. It's going to take all of us pitching in. So there you have it, a close look into the world of generative AI and deepfakes. The technology is advancing at light speed, and it's causing some serious problems as we struggle to determine what's real and what's not. It's a tough challenge, and one that requires a serious ongoing effort. For one, deepfake technology is only getting more realistic and accessible, and we need to understand these developments better. Second, we need to invest in new detection tools that can accurately identify deepfakes and prevent their misuse. This will only work, though, if we can maintain that delicate balance between responsible innovation and appropriate safeguards. This is where legislation and law enforcement can play a huge role, but it's also where training and public awareness will end up being the strongest weapons of all. It is increasingly important for individuals to take advantage of available tools and recognize that this is a societal problem requiring widespread attention and action by leaders in academia, technology, and government. We all need to remain vigilant, and by working together, we can help secure the future from the negative impacts of increasingly pervasive deepfakes. Thanks for watching All About AI Tech. I bet you'll be looking at the internet very differently after being exposed to this stuff. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment and let me know what you think. We look forward to bringing you more content on this topic and to explore others in this fast-moving field. Until next time, thanks for watching and have a great day.